Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, in today's episode, if you're a recent graduate or someone who has student loans to pay back, then we have a card that may be of interest to you. We were talking about Laurel and their student loan cashback card. So, of course, typical fashion, we'll talk a little bit about Laurel. We'll talk about how the card works, earnings, redemptions, the card itself. Of course, that student loan repayment section as well, coming out on the other end, figuring out if this is a card worth your consideration or not. So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. So, first things first, we've probably talked about Laurel a time or two before, but in case you're unfamiliar or new, we're going to start off with the classic Did You Know slide. So when you take a look at it, Laurel here, they've been around for some time, but they were purchased by KeyBank back in April of 2019. So since then, they've said, hey, we're focused on healthcare and business professionals. Now, if you go through their site, really what they mean by business professionals is that, folks with degrees, undergraduate and graduate degrees, because again, they're primarily focused on like that student loan market and what to do after graduation. And a fun fact about them, since about 2013, which I assume is their inception, they've actually refied about $9 billion in student loans, which is actually quite a number there. Now, we can make the argument, of course, because student loans in college is so expensive. But again, we're here for the credit card. So let's take a look at the earnings and rewards as we always do, then get into the card itself. So of course, this is going to be a cashback card, and it's in the name, right? This is the student loan cashback card. So here we have it. The redemptions are basically going to be towards student loans, and we'll talk about that, or statement credits. There's no miles or points or anything like that. And of course, again, this is going to be cashback because it's in the name. So again, after we look at the card, it'll make more sense because again, there's an interesting concept where you can kind of redeem these points for student loan repayment, which is kind of the gist of this whole program. But now you have it, the card on screen, student loan cashback card. So no annual fee. Your multipliers here do vary. So again, sticking with our theme, you're going to get 2x cash back when redeeming towards student loan payments. Or if you want to go with that statement credit option, then you're going to get 1x cashback redeeming basically for anything else. So it's written kind of weird, but the way I would look at it is it's basically going to be like a 1% back card, a core, and then you get the extra 1% when you redeem towards student loans. And really that's going to be the only major use case for this. So I guess now I say it out loud, you should really think about this as a 2% card and only really be considering this if you have student loans. But we'll talk about that. The last part of the card here is though you do get benefits like the MasterCard benefits because this is a MasterCard and there are no foreign transaction fees. Now, on top of that, I will briefly touch on the sign-up bonus, not necessarily from the dollar amount, but I do think it's worth noting here, knowing my audience. Part of my core audience is bonus hunters, and so what you have to realize here is that, yes, at the time of taping, you can get $300 back with $3,000 in spend in the first 90 days, but again, they're saying this is only for, redeeming towards eligible student loans, right? So there's no real, I don't think there's a real win here for bonus hunters. I don't even know if you could cash that out for a statement credit, but it definitely wouldn't be worth it. So again, keep in mind their target demographic. And so with that, that's pretty much it. That is the Laurel Road student loan cashback card. And again, you can kind of see the theme here, right? So we can say right here, if you don't have student loans, then this one is probably going to be a pass for you. But how does that student loan repayment piece actually work? Well, Laurel Road, again, they've been in the game for quite some time. What they've done is they've partnered with a lot of student loan servicers. So, really quick, when you get your student loans, oftentimes, those loans, just like mortgages, are sold to folks, to companies that basically, handle the payments, make sure your payments go through, monitor them, customer service, that whole thing, right? Those are known as loan servicers, right? Like a Sally Mae, or technically, I guess in this case, Laurel Road, because they do it as well. So they've partnered with a lot of these guys in the industry, actually about 95% of them according to Laurel Road. And if you're on one of these eligible servicers, then you can actually redeem this cash back at the 2% rate towards these student loans. So specifically what they're saying again is this is going to cover private and federal student loan servicers. We touched on the 95% of student loan servicers that they're working with. So I'm not going to read the full list. This is directly from their site, but you can see, I trust them. I take them at their words, 95%. There's 50 options on here. And they have some major players. You can see Wells Fargo Education on there at 50, 44 Sally Mae. Navient, I think, is on here somewhere. Of course, Laurel Road is on there as well. So, that's a lot of different coverage there. So I'll leave this on screen, or you can pause it and kind of take a look at it and see. But overall, that is how the card itself and the program works. So again, as we said, if you don't have student loans, this one's not going to be of much use to you. So what I would assume here is, once you have a actual student loan approved servicer, you can kind of link that to your Laurel Road account and make those redemptions pretty easy. I don't have any experience with that, of course, so if you do, it would be very helpful if you kind of let us know down below how it worked for you. I'm going to assume it's pretty easy to do, like standard credit card redemptions generally are. So with that, if you have student loans and you're trying to pay them down quicker, want to make a dent in them, is this worth it? Well, again, this is an interesting time to do this video because at least if you're watching it in 2022, we're coming out of a time where student loans have been in deferment and they weren't accruing interest. But if at the time you're watching this, that's probably either gone away or very soon going to be retired. We're going back to having to pay student loans with interest accruing, right? So, now is the time to definitely jump on it, and with credit card spend, this could definitely help, right? Because the idea here is, again, that you're using this card, a classic 2% card, which is the table minimum on all your daily purchases, and at the end of the year, you could do it monthly if you wanted, but like the end of the year, you've got enough cash back to make, a sizable contribution of essentially is free money because it's, use your credit card to buy things you already had to buy. And if you're that person, then I think it's fine, because this is, again, targeted at the person who really wants one credit card, one ease of use way to do this and contribute to knocking down that loan balance. And I think it's a fine option for that. Again, not having any experience myself with it. I don't personally have student loans, but I think it's fine. Now, with that, I'd be remiss if I didn't say you would do much better if you considered going after a few different cards with much higher rates. We say 2% is the table minimum, but realistically, I'm of the opinion that 5% has become the table minimum. Now, this is going to take a few cards to do. Citi Custom Cash, Discover It Cash Plus, US Bank Cash Plus, Amazon card, get you 5% back. And, that's kind of more my core audience, but when we have videos like this, we have folks who are just here because they wanted an answer on the Laurel Road card. Then we have folks who are maybe a little more into credit cards as well, but also have student loans. So that's an option to consider. If you go to the main channel, we have tons of videos on all the types of cards. I can link a playlist down below for you if you want to consider that option, because there's nothing stopping you from doing that and then redeeming your cash back through those multiple cards at the end of the year, then making your extra payment that way. I know that's actually the way I'd probably go. I mean, it sounds like a lot of extra work, but I don't think it really is when we're talking about, free money, more or less, again, using spend we have to. But either way, for the target demographic for the Laurel Road card, I think if you're not interested in multiple cards and doing that, then I think this is a fine option, and it could definitely help contribute towards you paying down your student loans a little bit quicker. Of course, they have a calculator on their website. We can kind of go through and price out your spending and see, how you would do. But I mean, if you just take your regular budget of what you're spending every month, and you can kind of do the math, and everything you could buy a credit card with goes on this credit card, you can do the math at 2% and see what you'd be contributing. So I think it could be a good option for their target demographic. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. So, of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Question for you guys. If you have this card or experience with Laurel Road, let us know down below how it works, especially with the redemption. I'm curious to see how easy and how simplified it is to link the accounts together. I'm sure you'd be helping out a lot of folks. As well as if you used other credit cards to contribute towards your student loan repayments, let us know that as well. You could probably help a lot of people make a decision between this or option B, which is a lot of cards. Love to hear your thoughts on that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and talk to you very soon in the next one.